Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
We've been telling you about roof collapses lately. This afternoon, a near disaster when a roof started buckling at a business complex, forcing tenants to get out quickly.
One woman tells us the roof has been groaning and popping for days, and it was so bad she had planned to call her whistleblower hotline to let us know. Valley News TV's Callie Hubbard is live at the scene with more details. Callie?
I'm here on 13th Avenue South by the Ramada by Windham and Chuck E. Cheese. Now, rescue crews were called here around 3:30 p.m. after tenants noticed the ceiling dripping and sagging. One woman who's been painting her business tells us chunks of the ceiling were falling inside. She heard banging and popping and called the building owner.
Today I noticed that the ceiling had bowed more than yesterday. I had beams, walls that were cracking around the windows, around the beams. The ceiling was lifting off of the beams. And we had got in touch with Prairie Property starting yesterday at 10 o'clock. And we told them again today that it was worse than yesterday.
Fire officials tell us that beams inside the building were hanging about 2 feet down. Everyone inside was able to evacuate, but the woman also tells us that she just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in a new ceiling, roof, and windows. And we just got another update that part of the building has started to collapse inside. I'm going to send it back over to you in the studio, reporting live in Fargo, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
All right, thanks so much, Callie.
Today we rose above the freezing mark, which was great because this has been the day to prepare, if you can, for the weather to come. Hutch, what's the latest on when, where, and how bad?
Yeah, we've been talking about a winter storm for the last several days, and this one's coming with a potent amount of wind as well. And as such, with some areas of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow driven by gusts to 60 miles per hour. We have blizzard warnings already for the central Dakotas, likely to extend into portions of our viewing area as well here in the valley as the storm takes shape. Also, some in Minnesota will get flat out rain and a lot of it. Flood watches for portions of eastern and southern Minnesota. Here's the timeline. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll get areas of snow, sleet, and rain developing, pushing north from the south. And the wind will increase by late night with gusts 40 to 60 miles per hour likely. Bands of heavy snow throughout the day on Thursday will spread through the region. And here's what we could be left with by Thursday night. A fairly wide swath in eastern North Dakota of 6 to 12 inches with a few areas getting 18 inches of very wet, very heavy snow. And off to the east, there's less snow, but that's because they get rain. 1 to 2 inches of rain could cause localized flooding. And yes, there could be ice in the middle. Now, when we get this kind of a mixture, we can have roof collapses, as we've already seen, local flooding, power outage risks, and also there will be a risk to livestock out there and impossible travel. I'll have an update on the hour-by-hour forecast so you can see when this storm will impact your community here in just a few minutes, but this is one to pay attention to. National Weather Service calling it a possibly historic event.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
We're not the only ones bracing for more bad weather. Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz asked power companies what happens when that heavy ice piles on top of power lines and gets blown by the strong winds.
The adrenaline is kind of up, so everybody's watching the weather and thinking about the things they need to do to personally get ready.
Here in Lake Region Electric Line's dispatch office, workers monitor the weather.
We're kind of preparing for ice buildup on our lines with the possible gusty winds coming.
And when strong winds meet icy lines,
it starts swaying them back and forth, and eventually the poles will start breaking off or the wire starts pulling apart.
So to prepare,
right now we're getting trucks ready just to be on the safe side, make sure we have the proper material, gas, chainsaws, just to be ready if the storm does hit.
The company's business development VP says more and more they're adding power lines underground instead of overhead.
And that has had a remarkable impact on reducing the number of outages.
Another tactic?
Over the last 5 or 6 years, we've taken a very aggressive approach to vegetation management.
In other words, taking out trees that would otherwise fall on power lines. According to weather.com, just a half-inch of ice can add 500 pounds to a power line, which some companies say they prepare for. But what if it's even an inch or more?
Once that ice is on the wires, I'm told there's only so much power companies can do.
There's really not a lot you can do to prepare for Mother Nature. You just have to roll with the punches.
And the best thing they can do is respond quickly. In Pelican Rapids, Rose Iscovitz, Valley News Live.
Don't know what to do during an outage? Xcel Energy has a checklist that you can refer to. We placed a link on our website. Go to valleynewslive.com.
A man in South Fargo is upset because someone else dumped snow on his clean sidewalk. That someone else is Fargo Snow Removal, a business that removes snow from commercial and residential areas. That business forced Charles Pinkney to go back and remove the snow where he had just shoveled.
I think the crews need to be advised that there are certain courtesies and certain constraints that they have to follow if you are in the snow moving business. You don't move it onto somebody else's property, especially one we don't need anymore.
The owner of Fargo Snow Removal couldn't talk on camera, but says accidents do happen and they address them to provide good customer service.
A massive snow pile has caused some concern in South Fargo, but it also has a few people in awe of just how big it is. Some say it's Fargo's snow mountain. They say it could be really dangerous because the snow could slide and cover people's cars who park near it.
We're still supposed to get more as of, well, freezing rain tomorrow and then more snow. And it's like, how much bigger is this going to get and how much worse is it going to be? But yeah, it is really dangerous to have it there.
Dost and her daughter took pictures near that massive snow pile today because they say it's the tallest pile they've ever seen so far. We reached out to the city of Fargo because we wanted to ask what they're planning on doing with the pile. They haven't gotten back yet.
With more snow on the way, a local decking company is warning homeowners that it only takes 3 feet of snow for your deck to collapse. It may sound extreme, but Josh Smoke with Deck Masters says it has happened here before.
Back in '97, when Todd and Lori were dealing with that issue, we went out on over 80 decks that had either pulled away, fallen off, or been completely destroyed due to these snow loads on their deck.
Even if your deck is closer to the ground, that doesn't mean it shouldn't be shoveled. Low-level decks won't fall as far on their way down, but they can be harder to repair.
A West Fargo teacher has resigned his science position at Cheney Middle School after being placed on administrative leave. The school official confirmed to Valley News Live that the board accepted the letter of resignation from Dan Mocktel. Mocktel was placed on leave in late February while the district looked into what was called a personnel matter. Details of the investigation have not been made public.
A Crookston man accused in the death of his girlfriend back in 2017 has pleaded guilty. Court documents state 51-year-old Eddie Frazier entered an Alford plea to second-degree murder in Polk County Court yesterday. The documents say Frazier strangled 48-year-old Tanya Wallace at their Crookston apartment. She was found dead in her bathtub. The documents state Wallace was also found with marks on her neck and bruises on her face. A sentencing hearing for Frazier is scheduled for next month.
Later on Valley News Live, it's